I've got an amazing lineup for you today. So I'm just going to get started and we're going to get cracking on. So today we're going to be talking about digital marketing, simple steps to scaling your business online. And we've got a great talker with us today. Someone who's going to lead us into how you can do that online, leading on from last week's webinar slightly and going into more detail and looking into some other areas. So what we're doing today, today's outcomes, there's a few different key areas. So the 4 things you need to know about marketing on social media platforms, 4 mistakes that most businesses make with their websites, their funnels or their ads, and additional digital marketing services to add to your business. And we're talking about products, websites, whether you're talking about a business-to-business relationship, whether it's a product, a lot of these things are very, very similar, right? So it's really, really key that we're thinking about how this works for our business and what it looks like. And then we're going to go for a wrap up and obviously questions at the end. So my name's Andy Hooper. I'm going to be your host. I'm the CEO here at Global E-Commerce Experts. I'm proud to lead an amazing team of VAT, warehouse and account management specialists who really, really are focused on successfully expanding sellers into the EU. This is part of our Success EU expansion series, webinar series. Every Wednesday, we have invited guests that talks about, whether it's a supplier or whether it's a seller. So make sure you check out what we've got in our webinar series. Thank you very much for giving up your valuable time. I know it's precious. The webinar is typically around 30-ish minutes. And I say ish because sometimes it's a bit longer, sometimes it's a bit shorter. If you've got any questions, we've got the expanders group that you'll also be able to get the information on and ask any questions in the Facebook group. #expander series. And we've now expanded successfully over 2,000 sellers across our programs. And we've got years of experience in e-commerce. So we're well placed to support and help you going forwards. Anyway, that's enough about us because most of you probably know that already. Well, I'm hoping you do anyway. So I'm going to move more on to our guest, Logan. Thank you very much for joining us. It's amazing to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to talking with everyone here and answering whatever questions you guys have. I know for the premise of this, what my goal is with everyone on board is to help set up you guys to be able to sell effectively and market effectively to the European markets. And that way, with any budget you have to, making sure that you guys are hitting the key aspects that any business needs to be hitting when you're going online. So I'm really looking forward to it, really looking to talking to you guys about this. Yeah, just to dive in, from my name is Logan. I am the CEO and founder of LC Innovations. We are a digital marketing services company that mainly focuses on what you see listed here. So paid ads, social media growth and management, SEOs, email marketing, lead generation, web design, LinkedIn automation. There's so many more things that go along with digital marketing services. That's just kind of the umbrella of what we have that we really like to focus on, because we think and believe that those are key aspects that should be in all businesses to some point or some scale. And then with that being said too, I mean, our focus here today when we're talking through this is to help you guys out and show you how either on your own or with other people you can scale your business online. I know during a lot of the time right now because of what COVID's going on and all these other pandemics in the world right now, a lot of things are shifting to that online aspect, and we want to make sure that you guys are marketing correctly online and not wasting a lot of money or time, but still being able to increase your clientele and your sales through that whole process. So we want to make sure that this system that we do on our end as well, that you can master on your end too, is going to require little work to zero work with that, and then as well works with your budget, whatever budget you may end up having to maximize that for your online outreach. So with that, I guess we just dive right into it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think that's really, really key. Let's move on to the next step. And well, I think before you start, Logan. So first of all, thank you very much for giving up your valuable time to share your wisdom with our sellers. I think that's really, really key. So thank you very much. And this really fits well into our success framework. So Logan, we have a success framework of what people need to do step by step in order to successfully expand. And there's a number of different areas. You've got the launch and the marketplace setups, but after that you've got social websites. There's a whole load of things that people need to do, and this really, really is the key ingredient to taking your products and getting them to the next level and your business to the next level. And I think that's really, really key.
a lot of it too now, I mean, the world has changed a lot over these last handful of years. And you have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, like those, in a lot of senses, people see that as just personal usage, personal entertainment, which is a great thing. But a lot of people don't realize is the massive business implications it can have with your business. And a standard now going forward is for your business, for most businesses at least, is you need to have your presence on those platforms as well, promoting your product, promoting your services through all those different channels, because of the amount of people, and you'll see it in later on slides we go through it, the amount of people that are on those channels is tremendous. And that's where the real market is now. And that's where people need to be showcasing their stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, right. So what we're going to do, Logan, we're going to move straight on to you. I'm going to mute myself and hide. And then if you need the slides to move on, give me a shout. But it's over to you. Thank you very much. And we'll speak again in a moment.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Andy. So diving into it, I know we only got 30 minutes here, so I'm gonna try to keep it as quick as we can so we can get to questions, but I wanna make sure you guys understand this stuff very clearly. So just going right into it, one of the first key topics that I wanna cover is 4 things you need to know about social media marketing. And those are, and we'll dive into these throughout the slides. So number 1 being, is this tool, meaning social media, a good part for your business? What platforms to use within social media? How to get started with all this, because I know a lot of it, it's like, well, what platform, what type of stuff should we be putting out, what other things all go into it, and then how to target the right people on those platforms, because there's different aspects. And for us, focusing on the European region and how to target that, we'll talk more about how to go about into that. So diving into tool number 1, is this a tool for your business? So we can hop to the next slide here. Okay, so is this a tool for your business? So if you're selling a product or service, then yes, this is a tool for your business. I personally believe, looking up here, if you're just looking at the slide here, just the amount of people that are on the platforms now, if you're just looking at this total number of active social media users, we're at 3.96 billion. And this was beginning of this year's when this kind of surveying data was pulled. And then as you go along the line down here, I mean, it's just showing the amount of people that are continually coming on board. The annual growth and total number of social media users right now, we're up 10.5% this year. And then that just keeps on growing every year. And then overall, I mean, you look at the people that are using phones, getting on their mobile phone and using this rather than a computer screen is tremendous. It's huge. Everyone's, now that you have an iPhone that can just access whatever you want, everyone's on an iPhone making purchases, going on social media, doing everything is through phone. You can run your own business through your phone now too. So it's that's the big aspect, that if you want to scale your business, you need to make sure that you're hitting social media platforms, just because of the volume that's out there right now. And that, I mean, as well as looking at it here too, the social media penetration right here versus total population. I mean, we're at 51%. So that's over half of the world's population is on the market, that's huge, especially for like a European region. That's a large portion of the population. So that's going to be a big targeted audience that you're wanting to hit. So then step number 2 then on this thing about social media marketing, we'll move on to the next slide. Thank you. So what platforms to use? That's a question we get a lot, is because you have a list of these platforms, you don't know kind of where to start. And that's where we kind of come in to kind of show you what we think you need to be accessing and what's going to be the most beneficial, especially for starting off. I mean, I think personally, from my experience and from our company, anyone can access Facebook and Instagram. I think it's a big starting point for everyone to start creating a Facebook page and Instagram page, because they co-communicate with each other. And you can be sharing your content through there, and as well as once you start running ads and other marketing aspects through that, you can connect those both, which is a very affordable route to go through that. And a lot of companies do this. I mean, if you look at all large companies have some sort of Facebook and Instagram page, and small companies are now starting to catch on to that aspect and get growing into that region. And there's a mix of that bag. There is a lot of small companies that we've worked with that do have a big and large audience on those social media platforms. And then there is other companies that have, a couple hundred, couple thousand followers within that, or fans and customers within that region, but they still do very well because you like just based off that, you can create a bigger outreach and hit more people by putting that content out and then targeting people similar to who you have as customers already. Other forms of social media, I mean, you got YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn, TikTok. There's a crazy amount of different platforms that you can be setting up and creating. I think personally for me, if you guys are starting out for your businesses to get your product out there, I think Facebook and Instagram are the number one step to start to go in. And then you can start going into like either a YouTube channel or a LinkedIn page, and then diving into more of, you know, these other aspects. But I think for the two reasons right here is going to be Facebook and Instagram. And then on the aspect too, social growth and management, that allows you to reach new customers without you having to put a lot of time into it. Especially if you have someone on your team or if you're hiring someone, they can manage that whole social media platform that just controls the content output and what the engagement with your customers and your audience. So it allows you to kind of that interaction, that one-on-one interaction that you can do, and that just that pure connection with the customer is a huge aspect that they really connect with and really want to be a part of. And that's the thing we're seeing a lot in the industry now, is just the easy connectability with people is what really drives the audience a lot towards a product or towards a service that they really enjoy. And at the end too, it comes down to your goals and budget. What are you looking for? What are you really trying to get out of it? If you're trying to promote your service or you promote your product, how are you guys going to go about that? And just an example here, this picture on the right is kind of one of the ads that we put out this is for a fitness one. So this is something that you just run through Facebook or you can run it through Instagram. And it's really easy to, we'll talk when we get to the ad section, we'll talk kind of how to go about this and what you need to set up and what you need to have to make it run very efficiently. So moving on to now step number 3 out of this slide. So how do you get started? And kind of what I talked about in the previous slide, you should, at a minimum, create a Facebook page to post weekly content. I think that's huge. You know, once or 3 times a week, post a picture up, post a video, you know, talk about the product, make it very appealing in a photographer way to the audience so that they can drive to it. I think that's a really good aspect to just, you know, constantly engage and give value. That's a big word and a big aspect that people talk about a lot, is just giving value nowadays. And it's just giving your customers and your clientele just constant help and communication to make them more open to you, and just to keep that communication a very, very good friendship and relationship going back and forth. So with that too, so with creating a Facebook and Instagram page, it's very easy. You can just set up, even if you have your personal homepage, you can then create a page off your homepage and then build it from there. And there's, as we go through this too, to jump in as well and pause that for a second. As we go through this, if there's things on here too that are just kind of an overview, you can easily just go on YouTube and say how to set up this, how to create a page, how to all this other stuff. And there's so many tutorials that you can just go through on your own to set things up. If you want to go the really budget-friendly route of doing this all on your own, or if you have a team in-house that can manage this as well. And so with that, so setting up Facebook and Instagram page, and then starting posting content. And because you can share those, you can have those linked together. You can just create content for one page, like your Instagram page, and share it to your Facebook page. So then you have double the content coming out on 2 different platforms. Very, very simple and easy to run. The next thing you need to do is create a business manager account. And this is for if you want to run ads on these platforms. This is very important because this will allow you to manage your ad. You can create your ad there within your business manager account. You can put a budget to what you want, and then you can put from there, you can tie your locations of who you want to target, age groups, genders, and so on and so forth. But that aspect will give you a really good breakdown cost analysis, and as well as really show you kind of how much it's going to cost you per customer that you're going to get based off your ads you're running. So that's going to be a key one we can talk about more later on. Setting up a pixel. So a lot of people don't know this, and we'll talk about it in later slides, but it's a Facebook pixel that allows you to kind of track customers or who's coming to your site and traffic. And then look at getting a website if you don't already have one. They're really simple to set up. You can always hire someone to agencies like myself, or you can just go on Fiverr or Upwork or websites as well that are freelancers that can do this work too. You just have to be careful with the quality of content that they're putting out. It's a very mixed bag, so you just got to be aware of that. But I think a website, especially for a product or a service, is always great. Or if you're going through like Amazon or something other stuff like that, you already have Amazon as your website platform, so to say. But if you don't have that and you have in-house products, then look at doing a website so you can generate traffic to that website from, and then have your social media platforms tied to it. And then you have now 3 different Facebook, Instagram, and a website, 3 different outlets that all can link together, which is very effective. Okay, and then going forward, so that wraps that up on how to get started. And Andy, to interrupt here, I don't know if, do you want me answering questions through these slides, or are we going to have questions at the end that will go back to these slides if people have specific questions to those?
Yeah, we'll just take questions at the end. We'll take questions at the end, and then that just keeps you going through the flow, and then
Okay.
we'll have the questions at the end. Is that right?
Perfect. Yep, that works great.
Perfect. Dude, cracking. Great. Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks. All right, so now we're on to how do you target those people? So there's, like in the previous slides, there's millions and millions and millions of people on these social media platforms. So how do you target the right people? And that's crucial, because if you don't have the right target audience for your ads that you're shooting out to people, you're just gonna be wasting money on a daily basis, and you're gonna be paying a ridiculous amount of money for one customer. And so what you need to ask yourself here is, who exactly is your audience? And then, like, with that being said, look at the product that you're selling, or that you've sold already, or that you're selling, and figure out the commonalities of people buying that from you, or what the commonalities of people that are going to be buying that from you. And then along with that too, we're talking about pixels here again, is how are you tracking this data? Because with every purchase, you can track the data of who this person is, and get a lot of that information based off when they're buying this or coming to your site. And that's through the pixel, like I've talked about in the previous slide, and setting up a Facebook pixel on your website so that you can actually track that audience coming in, and then you can actually gear your Facebook ads to match that similar audience. And then who is your product and service geared for? Is it like this is another ad that we do for dentists, for one of our dentists. So are you guys a dental service doing this? Or are you guys doing an individual product, like think of like a vitamin? Are you guys doing a vitamin product? Are you going out to, is it for elderly people for an elderly vitamin, or is it more of like a gummy vitamin for toddlers? Are you trying to target parents of that age group that are just with recent newborns, and just doing your data research and pulling those demographics of what's the age range of that nowadays in 2020, and editing your Facebook ad to market to that. And like I said before too, the Facebook Business Manager here allows you to specify age, gender, location on who your audience is. So specifically talking to the European side of things, you can easily just, when you're filling out your ad, once you've created an ad and created this whole setup that you see here on the right side, similar to something like this for your product, then you can then target as well. Like you just want, you can select specific European, you can go to the United States, you can go to Australia, United Kingdom, like you can, there's a whole aspect of, you can really get it down to the specific city if you want to target like your local area, or if you want to broaden it out to like the country or the globe overall as a general thing. You just have to make sure that you're going to be spending your money wisely, so you're not going to be wasting a lot of money on marketing. And by narrowing it down to a really fine audience will really get you more of a customer on a cheaper value than just casting a fishing net out there and seeing what happens. And yeah, using that data that you collect from people to then go run those ads. So that's how you target the right people. And then moving on, we'll go into the next subject now. These are 4 mistakes most businesses first make with their website funnels or ads. So this is a lot of things we see with for people starting out, that they just kind of don't know what's going on, what to do, where to start in a sense, and then they're not getting the right education or tools and applying them to then go use it actually effectively and get a good ROI on their product or get good exposure. And so the 4 tools here, like we've talked about kind of a little bit in a sense, is not adding that pixel, not making pages mobile friendly, as we talked in the previous slides, now that majority of people are online with their mobile phones, and then not adding a call to action button, we'll talk about later slides, and then not adding upsells as well. So with that, we'll dive right into the first mistake, not adding a pixel. So not adding a pixel here. So a Facebook pixel provides important information to create better ads. And just reading out the slide here, this is going to ensure that people, ensure your ads are seen by the people who are most likely to take action and purchase your product or purchase your service. And in a sense of what it is, it's a code that you take your Facebook pixel from your business manager, you put it into your website as a code, or whoever created your website, you just have them put that in. And then from there, it collects data to track conversions from your ad, optimize your ad, build targeted audience for future ads. So it'll generate from who's buying. Then you have an audience of who's actually buying your product, and then you can go apply that to your market and say, hey, go target these people as well, or similar audiences. And you can remarket to people who've already taken action over the website too. So people have already purchased from you. Like I said before, you can take that exact same audience, remarket to them on a new product or something similar, and then you're just generating more sales off that as well. And so those are very key aspects in that sense. And then this allows you to create retarget or lookalike audiences. So lookalike audiences are, you're taking that data of people who've already purchased, and then you're putting that within your Facebook ad. And then from there, you're creating a lookalike in a sense of, you're just telling Facebook, go find these people that are similar to this and run this ad on their feeds as well. Because we already have these people that have purchased, that have very similar profiles, very similar activities, similar searches throughout Facebook. So go target those people as well, because most likely they'll buy our product or service as well. So that's a huge aspect once you start selling your product and getting rolling, to then go create those lookalikes and retargeting. Number 2 is making everything mobile friendly. Like we said in the previous slides, and we can kind of buzz through this quickly, 99% of people access social media via mobile now. That's huge. I mean, I'm never on social media for the most part on my computer. It's always on my phone now, because you just have all those apps right there. You just click on it, scroll through it real quickly, and you're just rolling through it like that. And so that's how everyone sees it for the most part now and gets exposed to your products or any other thing, and as well as websites too. Because if you're on Facebook, they'll click your link to your website, or people just quickly pull it up on their phone, just look it up real quick. I don't have time to go from my living room, walk into my office, type in on my computer, and then go from there when I can just be on my couch watching TV, and I can just pull it up on my phone right there. So that's the quickest route that everyone's going to take. So you want to make sure your site is mobile friendly. And for an example, I actually put up, so my website right now, I took it back a version to when we first originally started. My LC Innovations Agency website is a non-mobile friendly website right now for you guys to see as an example. I'll leave it up for about a week, because obviously I don't want to keep it non-mobile friendly, but it's just an example to show you what it looks like on the desktop. And this was like a very old version. And then if you pull it up on your mobile phone, you'll see how it doesn't work well at all. And it just would scare a lot of people away and not even worry about looking at our website. So you want to make sure you do that so that you don't deter away customers. So moving on then to number 3. So the third mistake here is not adding a call to action button. And you can see in the right-hand side here on this picture, the Handcraft Works image, at the bottom there says get a quote. That's your call to action. So, get a quote, learn more, order now. These are all make it clear to your potential customer on the action, like the next step to take or the action to take. And that really helps remove friction from them as they go along the purchasing process. You don't want it to be where you get to your website and it's just like there's a bunch of different things. And they're like, well, I don't know what to do here. I'm kind of lost. So I'm just going to move on, go to somewhere else. You want to have it right there, front and center, somewhere that's kind of, a bold statement it's right when they come to the website or right when they go to your ad. It's like, here, learn more or buy now, get a quote, just immediately know the next step, because whatever you're selling, you want that immediate action to follow right after that so they can just jump right into it and go down into purchasing it. And this is another website. Sorry, going back to that slide. All these pictures too that you guys are seeing on the right-hand or left-hand side, these are all previous clientele websites we've created or ads, social media content we've created and managed, stuff like that. So you guys can kind of get a taste of what things look like, so you have a better understanding of it as well. So moving on to number 4, Fourth mistake is not adding upsells or cross sells. So perfect example here is on this picture on the left-hand side, that kind of the reddish amber color of that coffee bag. That's purchasing a single product, which is great. Not a problem with that. But if you don't add these upsells on the right-hand side of that, which is when you add that to your cart, you have like kind of at the end of the cart, there's recommendations on things to add with it. Filters, coffee mug, so on and so forth. Those are cross sells where you're adding on additional things that would complement it. And then upsells where you're recommending, hey, for a couple more dollars, you can go from the amber bag to the gold bag, which is a higher grain of coffee or a better flavor for this type of coffee you're looking for. So adding those aspects, they don't always work for customers, because sometimes customers just come in for, that one product and get out. But these always add extra products at the end of the line, which increase your sales overall, which is a good aspect to have. And then you collect that data as well as like they bought this, this, and this. Then you can go remarket those products too. And aside from that one product you were marketing, now you have other products you can now market on Facebook through your Facebook ads. So that's a mistake a lot of people miss, and it's always good to add on. Increases your sales, and then overall you can collect more data off of that too. So then going on, so that kind of wraps up for the most part, ads, website, the whole aspect of generally starting out online with a business and how to go about effectively marketing your product and services right now to potential customers. And then other digital marketing services here, we'll just briefly cover through. I know our time is right there, so we'll just briefly kind of cover through this here real quickly. And I know this is kind of the only slides that we have from these digital marketing services. So other services, SEOs is just getting your guys' website or your link higher ranked on Google, Yahoo, Bing, when other people are searching for a specific titled subject. Your guys' stuff can rank up higher. Lead generation, in a sense, is what you're doing with ads. You're getting lead generation off that, but there's other lead generation tools and aspects that go and grab leads for your product or service. Social media growth, this is where we help grow your Facebook, Instagram, you name it, your social media platform. We help grow that audience organically. You can see on the bottom right-hand corner, this is kind of a snapshot of one of our examples here of someone starting out with 400,000, not 400,000, 400 to 500 followers. And by the end of this period they hit about 6,000 through just a couple months span of just organic content and, methods that we have for outreach to people. That's a whole different subject on, hashtags to use, different audiences within those hashtags. That's a whole other aspect that, but it's very effective for your business to grow that audience naturally, like what we did here. And that allows to show your product out to more people that you're following, and then you get more audience engagement and you're selling more products to that as well. And email marketing is a big one too. I mean, if you have a big thing we like to do with email marketing is if someone adds something to your shopping cart and they decide not to purchase it, they just walk away, we can then retarget them through email marketing, say, hey, you still have this in your cart. Don't forget about it. And then a good chunk of the time they'll go back in and do that purchase. Or if you're just doing promotions, promos, new product launches, email marketing is really good, especially for people that have already done a purchase within your business. You can then market back out to them, and there's a better chance they'll come and make another purchase. And LinkedIn automation, this is one that we provide a service as well, which automates your whole LinkedIn outreach service from your invitations, your automated messaging sequences, and then scheduling calls. That it does a full list of that. So if you're looking for specific clientele or other businesses, that's a good way to go, is for LinkedIn, because that's specifically designed for looking for other businesses rather than individuals in a sense. That's kind of what encompasses that. But that wraps that up. And then overall, kind of talk more about who should manage this. So this is where it gets a little tricky, and it's kind of up to you as the business owner to decide on what I recommend too is if you got the time and passion for it, you can take this task on yourself and really, but you got to dedicate some time to watch YouTube videos to really understand Facebook and the whole online aspect. But if you are tech savvy, that's an easy method for you to go and just spend a little extra time to do that, then great. If you have an in-house marketing team as well, they should already be familiar with marketing services, obviously. And I'm sure by this point now, a lot of people are already looking at the online aspect or already online doing those marketing strategies too. So you can just add this onto the responsibilities. If they already have it, great. If they don't, yeah, that's just one more thing you add onto them to learn. Or as well, like our company, LC Innovations, we are a digital marketing agency, so you can hire someone like us or ourselves as well. You just got to make sure that for all these aspects, like with the in-house marketing, do they have the knowledge and training to do this? And is your team staffed properly for this additional work? You don't want to overload them with additional work. You want to make sure you have people that can manage this work. And then with marketing, like our agency, our digital marketing agency, you want to make sure that as an agency that we'd be a right fit for your business, or whoever you bring on is a right fit for your business. You don't want to bring someone that doesn't have the same goals and aspects that you have. You as both want to be on the same page, very communicative, to know what goals you want, so that agency can make sure that they hit those goals for you, or be realistic with you and say, hey, here's the budget of what's the breakdown cost of what's going to look like to hit that goal, or we can go this route that's going to be within your budget range and it'll hit this other goal that you're trying to hit. You just got to be very open, communicative with that. And then, yeah, we've already talked about taking the task on yourself, just making sure you have that extra time and then manage that on top of managing your own business. With that, I think that should wrap it up. Yeah.
Fantastic. I was talking to myself and I was muted and you couldn't see me. There we go. That was amazing, Logan. Thank you very much. I think there were some great things in there and some great points. So if you've got some questions, then please start putting those into the group chat. And any other questions, if you're looking at the recorded version, please put them into the Expanders group Facebook page, and we'll obviously answer those in there. But there's a few questions that have come out that I'm going to crack on over to you, Logan, if that's okay.
Okay.
The first one is a gentleman primarily sells on Amazon UK marketplace. Oh, hold on. My computer's doing funny things to me.
Very good.
Just sit still. Hold on a second. I had this while the slides were going. I had a couple of crazy moments with the slides. Okay. Do you have any experience scaling products on the Amazon platform and utilizing different marketing channels, such as Facebook ads or Google AdWords? If so, how effective have these strategies been? Can you recommend any marketing channels to help scale Amazon businesses specifically? And what's actually worked?
Yeah. So in general, if you're on Facebook, a lot of times if you're looking for a specific product, what I've typically found is a lot of those products that are ads already on Facebook or Instagram take me right to an Amazon page. Like it's right to their landing page within Amazon. And so that's just kind of 2 and 2 ties together with the whole aspect of Facebook and Instagram ads for Amazon products. I think are very effective. You just have to go route of just making sure you have a Facebook business manager page so that you can set up that ad and target whoever you already have on Facebook as purchasing. That's the other thing too. I want to make sure that this person understands is whoever's already purchased your product on Amazon, make sure if you're able to pull that data on them, make sure you can kind of use that to create that similar audience within the Facebook, Instagram, so you can retarget or target those type of people. That way it's going to be a warmer lead and a lot more likely that they're going to be purchasing your product. Or you can just go off kind of what we talked about and just make sure you know who buys your product and create that demographic within the ad. But yeah, most of the time, like if I've looked for example, it's hot here right now during the summers in Colorado, United States. So it's 90 degrees here. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius, but it's hot outside. So I've been looking for like almost like a hat that's just like a full shaded hat for when I'm doing yard work, when I'm outside, so the sun's just not beating down on me. And I looked on Amazon a little bit, but then from my phone, because of what it's tracking there, when I'm on Facebook, those ads are popping up. And when I click on that ad, it goes right to the Amazon page. And so you can easily do it through that venue. I know there is a way to kind of rank up in the Amazon side of things. We don't really specialize in that or do that very much. That's more on like the individual person that has that product to go about and market within the Amazon kind of platform. But I think you can easily pull your product out, make us some sort of landing page or just, you know, within Facebook, like how those ads show up that I had examples on these slides here previously. You'd have a picture of kind of your product, a little bit of description, a little copyright, and then a little buy now button, and it'll take you right to, and within that you can put that code to take you right to the Amazon, your homepage right there for them to purchase. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think there's, I think from an Amazon point of view, you can't really pull the data to create a lookalike audience, unfortunately.
Correct. Yeah, and that's kind of why I retract a little bit. And you want to make sure whoever you're selling your product to, at least hopefully you have an understanding of who that product's geared towards, so you can run that demographic within the Facebook ad. Because I know Amazon is very restrictive on that information, so you want to make sure, kind of going back to those questions in the previous slide of who's buying your product or who's it geared for, and knowing that to then apply that to Facebook. And that's where you'll have to, if you're starting off new too, I'd recommend kind of doing a couple different alternatives. And then after a couple weeks, you get a cost within your Facebook business account manager. You get a cost breakdown of who you're reaching within that ad, of each of those ads, and then how much it's costing per customer. And if you have ones that are just way out of proportion, you can just cut those right away. Cut those ads and then focus on the ones that are excelling, and then amplify that to a larger audience.
Yeah, I think that's really key. And I think that, you know, for if depending on where you are in your journey with expansion, you know, the ideal way is to send them directly from Facebook or Instagram directly to your own website, because then they're not going to get lost anywhere else as well. I think that's really, really key. So just a follow up there from Hamish, would you suggest sending to Amazon store landing page or website landing page? Obviously, Amazon landing page doesn't have the pixel, but a website landing page is another step in the customer journey. What would you recommend?
That would be, and it's up to the product you're selling, I think, because within your website, you can do the website landing page right to the product to purchase right there on your website. So in a sense, you're taking, if you're going the Amazon route, you're right to the Amazon page right there where you can purchase it, or you're going to your website page right there where you can purchase it. So it's the same step process right there. And then the thing I like with the website though is because they're going to your page there and the pixel, you're getting that data, so you can then retarget them again with that. You've seen in a case, and I challenge everyone to do this as well, is go on Facebook today in the next couple of days, click on an ad, kind of go through their whole website or whatever they're taking you to purchase something, and then just X out of it, and then get on Facebook and just keep that in your mind of what company that was. And just as you scroll through Facebook, watch how their ad will continuously pop up on your feed constantly over the day. It's the retargeting that they do on that is tremendous, and they can do that by taking to your website. Whereas Amazon, once you go to Amazon, it's a kind of a different story because you can't do that retargeting in a sense. So that's where it makes it challenging. But it depends on the product and service in that aspect. I personally prefer, for if you have the ability to do all the systems behind it on the website, do the website. But the nice thing with Amazon is it has the logistics side of it too. So you can have the warehousing there within Amazon, and the platform itself too is a trusted platform. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, no, I think that's really key. I think that, you know, a lot of our clients, once in their journey, what happens is they launch on the marketplaces, then they launch a website, and then they use the social ads and stuff like that. And then they use our warehouse to fulfill the goods from as well. So they can, you know, that's sort of the next step in their expansion. So hopefully that works. Hi, Logan, does Facebook and other social platforms have the same level of analytics as Google, for example?
No, they don't. It's different in a sense. Everyone's kind of privacy policies are very different. Instagram and Facebook themselves are very different too, even though they're both, you know, housed underneath Facebook. Their analytics behind them are a little bit different. You can pull a lot more information on Facebook than you can on Instagram, and you can do a lot more on Facebook too, which is interesting. But with the ads though, when you're running it on Facebook or Instagram, that ad, whatever you're clicking and tying it to, you have your business manager that can still pull those analytics. But specific information regarding like from Instagram is a lot different than Facebook, just because of the platform setup and how it operates. Because with, you know, Facebook, you can go where you live, where'd you grow up, your job you're working for, you can fill, and you can fill that out, and Instagram is just set up a little bit differently. In regards to Google, if you're talking about like Google AdWords, that one's a little bit more tricky as well. It's a lot different than Facebook, just because you're not really targeting, specific audience. It's more targeting, AdWords, keywords, in a sense of, if someone's searching for, like, say you need, like, for like a roofing business, you need a new roof on your house. And with Facebook, you can create an ad that targets, ages 25 all the way to 50 in your general region of where your roofing business is. And then on the other side with Google AdWords, you kind of tie those same, roofing, your location, all those AdWords within there. Because if someone then goes on to Google and searches, roof repair or roofing or roof damage, something like that, that's where that stuff can kind of pop into play. So it's on them to go search for you. Whereas like on Facebook, you're finding them, so to say.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Now, one question that I've got is, lots of digital services have varying costs. What sort of costs should people sort of be thinking about and factoring in when they're looking for these sort of services?
Yeah. So, and it's a wide range, and you got to really trust your gut on some things when it comes to, quality, and timeline too is important. Because if you go, like, I always recommend for people starting out, if they want to, you can hop onto Fiverr or Upwork. There's a lot of freelancers there that will do a lot of work. The tough part though is if you look on reviews, you can always, there's YouTube videos out there, stuff like that, where like a person did a photographer freelancer on Fiverr, for example, and paid, $20, what was it? I think it was 20, 100, and 200 for them to Photoshop 3 photos of him and with like these famous people, just to see the quality of the output. And the consensus of it at the end of it was the $20 one actually was very good on a couple photos, and the $200 one on almost all the photos was terrible. And they had like the green screen behind them and just a whole slew of things that weren't very good. And the 100 and the 200 had kind of the best photos overall. So you're paying for high quality in a sense with the $200, but you weren't getting the good product out of it. So you just got to know off the rep of the business, do your research, understand, make sure that like they're going to deliver you a product, and make sure you're getting examples from them so you know what product you're going to get. Typically for us, what we end up doing, and what I recommend for starting out, if you're looking at Facebook ads and a website setup or anything on the minimum scale, is about 1,500, especially for product and services. If you're wanting to run ads, and then as well as, getting a website set up, I think, and maybe SEO might be in there, or that might be additional cost within that. But roughly budget out, I'd say 1,500 to get ads started, and then and a website created. And then from there, you'll have monthly costs within ads as well. You have to understand that with digital marketing services, they always have monthly retainers, because you're running that ad, or you have a website you have to maintain, or the SEO that you constantly have to update or do, or lead generations that we're updating and providing for you. So there's always a constant update process that just generates more information or data to you that we can then help really fine tune the process and keep it scaling.
Okay. All right, fantastic. All right, thank you. When using Facebook, Instagram ads, how long does it take for the ads to become effective, warm up, roughly speaking? Would you expect to make sales in a number of days, weeks, or months?
I mean, when you launch it, it launches right then. And that's where, when you're talking about warm up, that it really comes down to that target audience. And that's where you want to make sure that you are targeting the right audience. Because say you're doing, for example, we'll talk about like a snow scraper, for example, scraping snow off your car, and you want to run an ad for that. But you're marketing people in like at the equator line where it's warm all year round. Like that's not going to be, you're not going to get anything warmed up, because no one in Arizona, California, where it's 100 degrees year round, is going to buy a snow scraper. You want to make sure you're targeting the right people, and as well targeting around the same time. Because like in Colorado too, for where I currently based right now in Colorado, our winters here, we get plenty of snow. And I'm sure over in the UK as well, in London, you guys get a lot of snow as well over there too. And you want to make sure you guys are like, you're marketing something like that at the right time. You don't want to do it during the summer when no snow is going around. You want to start doing it towards like the fall time when it's starting to get closer to that winter season. People are starting to prepare for winter, and making sure your demographic, your age group, all that stuff. You don't want to be targeting people that are like with a snow scraper. Like in a sense, you don't want to be targeting people that are very, very old because they're not going to be driving, or they're just in a retirement home and not going really anywhere, so to say. So that's where it'd be really good for you to understand your market and audience, because if you target the right people and know who you're targeting, within that day, the ad will launch. The second you click launch, it's out there and running.
Fantastic. I think that's great. Okay, perfect. Well, look, I think we're going to move on from there. There's been some great questions coming through. So thank you very much to all those questions that have come via email, personal, or in the chat function. So thank you very much. Now, thank you very much to everyone who's listened. But more importantly, Logan, if people want to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so right here, as you can see, this is our website, lcinnovationagency.com. Like I said, too, I reverted it back to an old version of our website so you can see, for an example, what it looks like when it's not mobile friendly and how bad it looks, because with everyone operating on their phones, you want to make sure you make a mobile friendly site. So it'll only be up there for about a week, because I don't want, clientele and stuff like that coming to my website and getting deterred away for too long. So check that out. And then from there as well, my email, Cucuk, that's my last name, at lcinnovations.com. And my phone number, my US phone number there as well. You can call me or text me. But if you want, visit our website, and from there you can schedule a call. If you want to talk more about this, we can hop on a quick call and kind of answer more questions you may have, or other strategies we can talk about. And then as well as we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So check out those channels as well.
Fantastic. I think that's great. So thank you very much, Logan. I think it's been super useful. I know our sellers are going to get a huge amount from that and be able to impact some of that. And hopefully they're going to get in contact with you should they need any support and help with that. So that's it from us. Thank you very much. It's been another amazing webinar. Thank you all to those that have been live, for all those that will watch this at a later date. If you've got any questions for us, you can obviously get in contact with us as our usual channels by your tax agent, your warehouse account manager, or your digital account manager. Or you can obviously contact us at the support, the normal phone number, or all the usual social channels that you hear us from. So thank you very much. Thank you once again to Logan and his amazing time. And we look forward to speaking to you all at the next Wednesday. Sure, it's going to be amazing once again. So thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll speak again soon. Thank you,
everyone. Thank you, Andy.
Cheers.